Hey guys, I'm Nick Penney, and this is a Sword Swallower reacts to David Blaine's Beyond Magic. See, we're watching it right now. David Blaine, Beyond Magic. So my reaction to it. Let's watch it, shall we? Warning. Good. Definitely good. They involve significant, dangerous elements. Very true. Alright, so we start off with a really kick-ass animation. Very cool. And it moves into a ring trick where he makes a ring vanish. That's a very cool trick. I like that. But what I don't like is him swallowing a coat hanger in a very poor manner. I mean, look at it. He's choking and gagging. His posture is horrible. Like, coat hangers are horrible. You shouldn't swallow those in any way. Like, people who teach people how to swallow swords with coat hangers is a bad idea. Because coat hangers, like, there's a metal coating on it and it flakes off and it can cut your esophagus. And really bad. No. It's a no. Sword swallowers do not learn how to swallow swords with coat hangers. At least they shouldn't. It's really bad. We do swallow coat hangers, but it's a convincer. It's to prove that the swords are real. It's not a training tool. It's really bad. Don't do that. Yeah, pretty cool trick. Swallows a ring, swallows a coat hanger, pull the ring back up, linked onto the coat hanger. I like that. Pretty cool. Reminds me of a trick that I do, not a trick, a stunt that I do, where I swallow a cherry, like an edible cherry put on sundaes, ice cream sundaes. I love cherries. Swallow the cherry, and then I swallow a skewer, and I stab the cherry, and I pull it back up on the skewer. Been doing that for several years now. Reminds me of that. Yeah. It's good though. Alright, so the bullet catch, that's what they're talking about right now. Ooh, that's crazy. That's totally real. I actually know the guy who originated that, for real. His son, Carl, I met him. He's a cool guy. Carl and his partner, his show partner, Tyler, 20 Penny Circus. Check them out. Really cool guys. That's really dangerous. Crazy. He just took a bite out of Arnold Schwarzenegger's wine glass. That's so cool. I mean, I've eaten glass too. It's part of my act. But that's really cool. He did a really good job doing that. Good job, David. Okay, so I don't like the paper balls overhead trick with the cell phone. Bad trick. I don't like it. Totally set up. Totally staged. Totally. Completely totally. Totally. No way it's not. That was done with some camera editing tricks. Totally. Definitely. Just like his original special where he used a Balducci levitation to levitate like 3 inches off the ground. Totally able to do that in real life. But in the special, he levitated like 9 feet off the ground. That was totally done post-editing with cranes and operators lifting him up. Totally. Definitely how it works. So, like, that's definitely a camera trick, for sure. Camera editing trick. Stooges, stuff like that. Ooh, the trick with Jennifer Lawrence over the cell phone. That's clever. I love that trick. I do a version of that trick. It's a great trick. Great job, David. Great job. I regurgitate. That's a really cool thing to do. My favorite part about this is check that out. That's David trying to learn to regurgitate. But here's one of my favorite magicians of all time. I do a lot of his tricks. Here we go. Daniel Garcia. That's right. Magician Daniel Garcia. Love you, dude. Great mind. Love his magic tricks. Do a lot of them. It could be hitting your spine, Brett Loudermilk? No, it ain't. No, definitely not. It's not hitting your spine. There's space between your esophagus and your spine. You need to take an anatomy lesson, bro. Definitely not hitting your spine. Definitely not. And I know Brett Loudermilk. Me and him have met. He's actually just a little bit taller than me. And you can see on the video that he is really shorter. Much shorter than David. And David's sword, by comparative to his size, is really small. David, you should be able to swallow a much longer sword than that. You need to get a bigger sword. I'm only 5'3". I can swallow a 24-inch long blade. How tall are you? If I can swallow 24 inches to the hilt, you should be able to swallow, like, what, 24 minimum? At least? You mean? Hell, at least 18. Get a bigger sword, my friend. Get a bigger sword. It can't go any further. It's hitting the bottom of your stomach. It did not show that on video. It showed him getting about 7 inches in the back of his throat. Didn't even show him going down his esophagus into his chest cavity. Not at all. Not between his lungs, not past his heart, not into his stomach. Definitely not. Your stomach kind of stops right about where your belly button is. That's a lot. Like I just said, I can swallow 24 inches. Definitely not. Whoever edited this missed something. They missed the part where David swallowed the sword because he's just trying. He didn't do it. Missed that. Editor deserves to get fired. bad editing job, guy. You left the piece where David swallowed the sword, and then Brett talked about it won't go any deeper because it's hitting the bottom of his stomach. You did not show that on the video. Didn't show it. More talk of the bullet catch. Not bad. I really enjoyed that part of it. I mean, definitely. Cool part. Alright, so David's in the hospital. He's going to swallow a sword and have an x-rayed. The end of that sword is incredibly round. Really round. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a sword rounder than that. Now, I get that he's supposed to be new and all, but, like, my students swallow swords just as sharp and pointy as I do. And you mean like my latest student? She's only been swallowing swords for, like, 10 months. Less the time than David has. And she can do a much sharper sword than that. Like, the sword that she swallows you just drop it into the ground and it sticks into a piece of wood. That's how sharp and pointy it is. David, you need a sharper sword. Definitely. A pointier sword. Something that looks like a sword and not just like a piece of metal. You need something that looks more proper, dude. Just my opinion. I mean, look at it. I'm just going to show you guys. Look, see? David swallowing it. See how far it goes down? See how much he leaves out? Kind of look, see? That sword did not go into his stomach. It went just above his stomach sphincter muscle, you mean? The lower esophageal sphincter. Definitely did not go beyond that. I'm a sword swallower of 10 years. I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for a long time. That, and did you see how dull that tip of that sword is? Wow, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And folks, I know what I'm talking about. I've been swallowing swords for 10 years now. My sister Laura, who I taught, has been swallowing swords for 8 years. And Laura is actually special in her own right as well. She's the only female sword swallower known to swallow swords and do cartwheels. And she's the only female sword swallower to swallow swords hanging upside down. So she's really special and unique. And I swallow swords upside down, swallow swords and do cartwheels. I do push-ups, you know what I mean? I hold world records for swallowing swords. I know what I'm talking about. I've invented and discovered and innovated sword swallowing a lot. I do extreme sword swallowing. I know what I'm talking about. David, if you want some advice, get a hold of me. You know how. Back to the regurgitation. The dude, great presentation. I really like it. You know what I mean? Bringing up the frogs. I know how hard that is to do. Not that I've swallowed frogs, bro, but I definitely know how hard it is to do. I swallow golf balls, and I have done fish. I don't like doing that, though. You mean, like, I'm not a vegetarian, but I think swallowing live animals is animal cruelty, so I personally won't do that anymore. I think that's really bad. But to each their own. To each your own. You did a very good job. You're a much better regurgitator than you are a sword swallower, bro. If you want some advice on learn how to swallow swords better, I'll totally give you some advice. Get a hold of me, dude. HumanMarvel.com, NickPenney.net, MainSwordSwallow.com. Get a hold of me. I'll teach you how to swallow swords really well. To the point where people are saying you're one of the best in the world. That's how good I am. I mean, I hypnotize people, and in 30 seconds, I go like this, I'm like, snap, hypnotize, blah 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 blah, stick a sword down somebody's throat, 18-inch blade, pull it back up, snap my fingers, and they're awake, and they're like, how the hell did you do that? I know what I'm talking about when it comes to sword swallowing. I could make you 1,000,000 times better, dude. Get a hold of me. Great regurgitation work, though. Love it. Finally, we see the bullet catch. Absolutely incredible. Here's a close-up. See, you can see the smoke. You can see the line from the sight. It's absolutely incredible. Executive producer David Blaine. Most of the stuff he did in this special, I really liked. I didn't like the magic tricks. I thought a couple of them were okay. I didn't really care for the magic tricks, though. The sword swallowing, you need a lot more practice, dude. A lot more practice. I get it that this is, filmed a long time ago, but you advertised the show, the new special, Beyond Magic, on the Ellen Show, and you did a horrible job of that, too. I think you honestly swallowed the sword better in the special. Granted, they only showed you swallowing, like maybe 14 inches of blade, and it only showed you sliding down like the last inch before the way the editing process was. So like, I feel like you probably choked and gagged and had to push, and there's a lot of discomfort and looked bad. So they cut all that out, and they only showed the part where it was the last this much sliding down. and then you did the pose to get the x-ray shot, and then you pull it back out, and you made a disgusting, horrible face when doing so. So I think you need more practice. You're definitely not proficient at sword swallowing yet. Need more practice, dude. So, I just finished watching David Blaine Beyond Magic, and I gotta say, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be either, though. What were my favorite parts? Well, gotta say, the celebrities' reactions. You mean Jennifer Lawrence, Johnny Depp, Drake, uh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, um, Dave Chappelle, and Daniel Garcia, magician. Yep, my favorite part. Seeing those people, their reactions, it was awesome. And second favorite part, the regurgitation. That was awesome. Third favorite part, the bullet catch. I mean, that was just awesome. I mean, look, for real, I'm gonna show you. Like, look, you see the bullet catch right there? Super slow motion, and look, you can see pieces of it flying out the mouse guard. It was amazing. David Blaine plans on performing the bullet catch live on his upcoming tour, which he's probably already performing. So, kick ass for you, David. So you saw David Blaine trying to learn to swallow a sword. You saw Brett Loudmouth, his instructor, swallowing a sword. Pretty well, I have to say. And then you saw David Blaine sort of swallowing a sword. So now, see my student, Kiara. She's the latest person I've taught how to swallow a sword. She's been doing it for about 10 months now. This video you're about to see is her swallowing swords. About 3 months, just shy of 3 months of training. And yeah, see that. You can see just in the video how pointy the sword is and just how sharp the edges are. And it's a 17.5-inch long blade. Goes down all the way to the hilt. After that, then you'll see a quick video of me swallowing a really super round dull sword that I got from another sword swallower, and a super pointy sword that I prepared myself, a sharp sword. So I'm Nick Penney. Thanks for watching. Check out the rest of the video. I'll see you next time. Subscribe if you like what I talk about and my sword swallowing antics, and if you don't, well, dislike the video and tell everybody that I suck. Whatever. But I don't suck. I swallow. Big difference. Cut.
It took me a couple of days. I'm not gonna lie. This is a little pointy and it irritates the back of my throat when I try to swallow it, but I can swallow this now. I wanted to send you a video. Ta-da!
There are two different kinds of swords that you can swallow. There are altered swords, and then there are custom-made swords. David Blaine's sword is custom-made. I know the person who makes them. I'm told, I don't own any of his swords, but I'm told he makes some of the best sword-swallowing swords in the world. I believe it. My problem is, though, David needs a sword that's a little bit more pointy and looks more like a sword. Okay, when you have stamped swords, like his custom-made, it's just a flat piece of metal. You see how this blade is a line in the middle of it, where it's thicker, and then it tapers off to the edges, where it makes an edge, a double-edged blade. See how round it is, though? David's sword is actually more round than this. I didn't prepare this sword. This sword was actually given to me by another sword swallower. Because I'm a self-taught sword swallower, I didn't know how dull a sword was supposed to be when I was learning. I pretty much just kept dulling the sword until it stopped irritating my throat, and I could swallow it, and that's when I stopped dulling it. So my swords are incredibly sharp compared to 90% of sword swallowers. And all my students can swallow all the swords that I can swallow. I've taught 7 people how to swallow swords, and I've hypnotized another 12 to how to swallow swords. So 19 people on this planet have swallowed a sword because of me. I know what I'm talking about. This is the dullest sword I own. It was a gift from a sword swallower. It's not saying that he can't swallow sharp swords. He owns one of my swords, and it's sharp. Sharpest sword he owns. He said it himself. So I'm going to swallow this for you. This sword is actually longer than David's, and yeah, I'm going to swallow it for you. Ta-da! No, I've been doing it for 10 years. So I should be doing it pretty easy, right? But look, see, this is a sword that most sword swallowers use. Like 90% of sword swallowers use a sword with a blade tip that dull. This is the kind of sword that I use. See the difference in pointiness? This is sharp. Okay, now look, this is what I do with this sword. Not only is this sword sharp on the point, it's sharp on the sides too. Now look, back to the dress with the, see how it's sticking right here? And then it tapers off, you can actually see it. No. Anyway, let's swallow this for you. See if you can see what I do special with this one. That's what we call the fling, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. This is a sword swallow reacts to David Blaine swallowing swords on Beyond Magic and the Ellen DeGeneres Show. I'm Nick Penney, the Human Marvel. If you want to find out more about me, go to humanmarvel.com. Like me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube. Have a marvelous day. See you next time.